Hello, hello. Welcome to another episode of Monsters Life. And I'm your host, Arthur. And today I have with me Ben,
Hello.
one of our new co-hosts. Today we're going to talk about one of Ben's favorite animes. And this has become a series or a two-parter. Not sure yet. We'll see how this one does. And we'll go from there. So today we're going to talk about My Hero Academia. Or My Hero Academia. Whatever pronunciation you want. So Ben tells us about two things. What do you enjoy about My Hero Academia? And what is this show?
Of course, the show is basically just humanity evolved to have quirks, which are just kind of random powers. The show follows Midoriya, Deku, whatever you want to call him. He.
Cry baby. Cry baby.
Go watch Demon Slayer if you want to cry baby. But yeah, no, he was born without a quirk. He's about a third of humanity is, if I remember correctly, it says born without a quirk. Basically, you're just a normal human being without powers, which is very upsetting because his one dream is to become a hero, like his personal hero All Might, which is the number one hero. Basically, it follows his story. It follows how he gets powers. It follows his school life, and basically what it says at the beginning of every episode, it's the story of how he became the number one hero. It's really good. Has a lot of interesting characters. It introduces a lot, all at once, which can be a kind of a pain. But once you learn their names, you learn their quirks, you learn their powers, you learn their personalities, it gets really good. The action and fight scenes get really good. The character development with how their powers go and just how much they grow throughout the story is just, I think it's really good. It's kind of a hard to watch after how powerful they do get, but I think it's definitely worth watching. Still waiting on season 7, which I think actually might be starting in a few days. Yeah, man.
So next week, actually,
It's gonna be lit. I am ready for it.
at 2:30 Pacific.
Yes, sir.
But
Pacific.
before we go out there, bro.
No, nobody goes there. Central going all the way.
No, that's what I'm saying. It's 4:30 our time. It's 5:30 Eastern.
Yeah, no one cares about Eastern.
God damn.
Central going all the way.
It's such a, oh my god. I'm like this.
Central gang. It's a great show, though. It's a great show. Great characters, very inspiring. People who hate All Might are kind of gay.
It's not even kind of fun, man. You're gonna be saying that shit. Well, yeah. No, you know, it's fine. I'm not gonna crucify for. Yeah, my hero is probably up there with me in terms of like shonen forms. That was a great character development. Like you said, season one is very, very hard to watch if you go back to it.
Going back to it, yes, but if it's like your first watch, I don't think it's a hard watch at all.
Yeah, it's like the thing that is interesting, and we talked about this on the Doctor Stone episode, is the fact that it's kind of a show that you can go back and you can pick it up whenever. There's not really a time frame that you can go and pick it up, if that makes any sense, because it is a very like linear story, and then there's always like a recap episode that talks about what happened to this character, what happened to so, what happened to you name it. So it's like that show that's very grounded to what it believes in and what they're trying to convey with the main characters, especially with Brer on the first few couple seasons. He's still very naive to.
He wants to believe in everybody. He wants to see the good in everybody. And I mean, you got to realize, like, because he was born without a quirk, like the quirk that he does get, his body really needs to grow into it. Because his body, it wasn't built for it. So like you see him struggle a lot. You see him go through like a lot of like physical pain because of it. But like it's genuinely just because his body wasn't built for it, So like,
going to that point, Doria is, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, Ben, but when they're in this tournament arc, and it's between him and Todoroki, and he completely destroys his finger when he's like trying to flick the power because he can't control his quirk.
Yeah.
He's like completely, his finger's completely broken, and he's just still trying to get through with the pain, which is like you don't see that often with shonen shows.
And like one thing about that, like because like he had to go through that pain, like he had to do that a lot. Like his bones would just keep breaking because he couldn't use his quirk correctly just because like I said his body wasn't built for it because he got course. Obviously there's gonna be spoilers in this podcast, so spoiler warning right now. Like obviously he got his quirk from All Might. All Might had. Oh my God! Who would have thought? Who would have thought that the man who has the exact same power?
Oh my God! You just picked the guard. You just picked the guard. What do you think?
But like, obviously, like, he had to like build up his body. Like he did like a small montage at the beginning. It showed him getting muscle, like cleaning up the beach and everything. So like even then though it wasn't nearly enough. So like you see him have to go through that pain a lot just to use his quirk. Like there was tournament. I think it was either season 2 or season 3. I feel like for some reason I think it was season 2. And it was a school tournament. And at one point near the end, he ended up fighting Todoroki, and the dude broke all his fingers to fight him, and then he started to come again because he still needed to continue to fight to get Todoroki to actually go full power, to actually use his powers. Like he has done permanent damage to his bones and his nerves because he couldn't control his powers, and they've told him like in the show, like if he does once or like I think it was like 3 more times, he could lose all the powers in his arms. Like he could lose like all movement, all dexterity. Like he can't use his arms anymore, which would just cut his hero career basically like down the drain. I know they like so far they've gotten him more of a well, he's a powerhouse. They got him more of like a speed character who uses his legs a lot because he's fucked up his wrist so many times. But it shows a lot of character development for how far he's gone with the powers that he has, and like how much better he gets going throughout the show.
Yeah, I think that the show it's not like other shows that the main character is just too OP. In the hero's case, you do have ones that are like stand out the most. You do have like kind of like a core of like maybe let's say like 5 or 6 that they concentrate a little bit in certain parts of the show. But all the heroes from class 1A have a understanding of what their purpose is. The main characters like that you see 1A is used the most, but there's some that are just a bunch of duds, I would say.
Yeah, like there's some like that are amazing. Like obviously like going into it, Bakugo, he's obviously he would be like Deku's main rival in it. And with that being said, even now, like in the show, he is basically, I don't want to say he's as powerful as Midoriya because Midoriya has All for One. In the later season, he gets even more powers from from All for One, or One for All. All for All.
Now you got them confused too, so don't worry about them.
Okay. Yeah, you guys know what I mean.
It's all for one. I think is All Might, and One for All is the main villain.
Sure. But it shows like even now, like Bakugo is like powering up more. He's keeping up with Midoriya, and like if it goes how I predict, because I don't really read manga, those two would be basically the. I would say they'd be the All Might and the Endeavor of their generation, but I think Bakugo will keep up a lot more than Endeavor did, because Endeavor was always number 2, but he was the number 2. Like there was never a chance of him passing up Midoriya. And while the show is literally like says this is how Midoriya became the number 1 hero, I think there's going to be a lot of times where it's going to be more of a fight between him and Bakugo for the number one, if anything, because how badly Bakugo wants it and like how strong he's getting and how much he wants to be better than Midoriya. I think it's going to work out pretty well, but it might just turn into a Naruto Sasuke situation where they're both just ridiculously fucking powerful, but everybody just likes Midoriya better.
Hopefully the show doesn't do the typical trope that, which is, I don't think is the case. Like we were saying earlier, season 7's coming out soon. I don't know if it's going to be the continuation of the war arc, which is fucking brilliant. I think it's interesting to say the least is the fact that hopefully it doesn't become the show that's like, oh, Deku wins every fight, which is not the case, because you see him struggle, which is the main important thing about the show is the fact that it's like, okay, we're going to give you this power, but you're not going to be like 100% OP to, you know.
Oh yeah, for sure. Like going to that, like it really does show him struggle. Like just going back to the overhaul fight. I think that was end of season 4, end of season 5. Literally, the only reason why he could even beat that villain is because really he had hacks. He had the kid that could basically reverse time and like reverse what happened to you. So like the entire fight, he was going full power, 100%, which is basically what All Might's at the entire time. And his body just literally can't handle it. It's snapping his bones, it's breaking his muscles, it's ripping him apart. But because he had, I can't remember the little girl's name. I want to say it's like Yuri or something. But
it's Eri is the name of it.
Eri. Okay, yeah. He has her literally on his back, using her powers on him the entire time. Because if she doesn't, he's gonna die. They're gonna die. She's gonna get taken. She's gonna get tortured by Overhaul again, and just like literally her body ripped apart. But like. It showed he is not powerful enough. It shows that he's not good enough yet to beat this person without this, because if he didn't have Eri on his back, literally, basically healing him the entire fight, he would have died instantly.
Yeah, the thing is, the reason why I'm making this a two-parter or a series itself is because there's so much stuff about the heroes themselves that it's kind of hard to put them and the villains in the same category on the same conversation for the time being. I think the villains do deserve to have one episode that is just going to be dedicated to them, because the way My Hero does stuff give you so much depth to the villains. There's some sympathy with the villains, where they come from. You know that the reason I hate shows that don't explain how this villain become a villain. I know, spoiler, this is another spoiler, but not for My Hero, it's for another show. JJK explains that. We'll have to show it. Yeah. Yeah, the show explains that as well. You're surprised about that not being brought up yet. They explain why a villain became a villain, not for the sake of being a villain. He didn't have a cold heart to begin with. So there's that aspect about the hero that is like very interesting nuance of why Overhaul became a villain, how Stan became a villain, how Shigaraki became a villain, and so forth. So we're going to dedicate a whole episode about just the villains on My Hero, because there's so many of them. There's so many depths and nuances on why they became a villain themselves. Because a lot of the times they do have a good heart, but the circumstances around them don't allow them.
Yeah, like when it comes to Shigaraki, basically, besides, his parents fucking hating him, or at least his dad.
It was his dad. It was mainly his dad.
He basically killed his entire family. Unfortunately, like, not purposefully. That was real rough. That was a sad
and then that scene was just like, to me, probably one of the best arcs there was on My Hero, because they dedicated a whole arc, second part of the season, I think it was season 5, if I'm not mistaken, just to explain how the villains became villains. Because each episode was about a different villain. The only one that we kind of found out on season 6 was Dobby. How much of a douchebag his dad was.
Yeah, but that was interesting. because obviously I don't read the manga, but like that him being his like long lost son was crazy. I don't know. That was really good. That was really interesting. Once it was revealed, Dobby kind of went insane, but it really made you understand his character and like where he was coming from.
Yeah, and that's the thing is like you kind of like take a little bit of liking to the villains because you're like, okay, sorry, Shigaraki, you went through some shitty stuff, but we understand why you went through some shitty stuff. And that, like I was saying earlier, that scene is just fucking nuts because, like, look, he killed his own family because he can't control his work. He's upset. He that scene is when he's so sad. Is like he is hugging his dog, and then his dog is trying to comfort him. And he just kills the dog, and he's like losing his shit. And then his father's like, "What the hell are you doing?" Pretty much, in his face, and he's like,
That was so
gets gets up, and he's like, "Die!" And then he's not kidding anything about it. And then Wolfram gets a hold of him, and he shows him like, "I'm going to show you the ways." So it has that depth to the character, not just like, okay, I'm a villain. Oh, yeah.
It's not a villain because I'm a villain. It's not like I don't have any real motives. It's like he was abused, and then like he accidentally killed his family because he couldn't control his powers, and then One for All came and like took him in. He was able to actually give him a family, like show him like care and stuff. So it makes sense why he would follow him and like
It's also
actually.
one, not one for all. I'm sorry. I don't know if you interrupt you.
You know what? I'm gonna get it mixed up every single time.
No, yeah, it's also
Listeners better get used to it.
so one for all is which gives him the ability to stockpile his raw power and pass it on to others and become his successor. And then his arch nemesis is all for one. I know I got them confused too.
Okay, we're okay. We're obviously not gonna get this correct. It's not gonna happen. I think I actually said it right when I said it just now, and I think you're just stoned.
Whatever.
But yeah, it makes a lot of sense how Shigaraki turned out the way he did, and now he's just trying to prove one for all. I'm assuming I'm correct. Like,
I
don't care anymore. He's trying to make his dream true, but then at the same time, he also wants to now he wants to grow and be his own person because obviously, like in the last season, All for One, like he was in the Mindscape with One for All, All for One, the big bad escape with all of Midoriya's past quirk holders, and like he was trying to escape. He was trying to take over Shigaraki, but Shigaraki did not let it happen. So I'm very curious about to see how that's gonna go. Like if he's gonna be against him now, or if they're gonna like still be on the same side.
Well, the thing is, like, about the shows, and I'm trying to stay off Twitter and stuff like that because that show is getting spoiled a lot on Twitter on what is happening in the manga, and then also JJK is another show that they did that shit a lot, and so like towards the end of season 2, I was pretty pissed off because people were just posting stuff. Which is so I was like, fuck, So you kind of like you have to just be careful what there in terms of that stuff. The one thing that I found interesting about the show is I think in season 6 when they go to that prison and they just completely destroy the prison and then they free a lot of the villains that got captured by the heroes. Like what was the name of that guy? The big muscular. Stupid name. But he's muscular. The fact that Midoriya like beat him twice is just he's like, oh my god, I have this power now. And then Midoriya's like, no, I found your heart. And he's just like, and then the one that I was just like, oh my fucking god, when they brought Overhaul back, but he's like so useless now.
No. They brought Overhaul back, but they haven't used him for anything yet.
Well, didn't like Midoriya stay here before like the build exploded? because he was like because Midoriya is fighting Lady Nagant, the one with the crazy arm.
Yeah,
And then Overhaul is like looking like a dumbass, and he has like no arms in because Shigata fucked him up.
I think that did happen. I think you're right.
Oh, and I was like, Shigata fucked him up. Oh my god. When they're like, Shigata is such a a-hole though, and it's like you have to give us the thing to make people lose their quirks, the bullet, and then Shigata is like. He could, overall couldn't move, and then Shigaki just takes his glove off, and then just like, you're done. So,
I'm just saying. I'm just saying. One thing because we mentioned overhaul and everything. Lemillion getting his powers back. Oh, I loved it. I loved it. It was great. Fucking nut.
yeah, that's the thing. Midori, you get he's the successor of All Might, pretty much, and then you have Bakugo with his explosiveness quirk,
Yep.
and then you have Icy Hot as Bakugo also, um, um, Todoroki, and then but the thing is like besides those three characters. I would say like probably the other two strongest ones from that group would be Ochako and then
I wouldn't say that.
but who you want to pull up there of in terms of like I mean
Obviously, I had to point this one out. Hiroshima has grown a lot.
no yeah I'm not taking that away the I'm not taking that away from Kirishima and then he's like the best yeah but anyway
I can't remember his name for some reason off the top of my head, but the class rep.
yeah
Um,
yeah either
Ida, yeah. I think he's more. I think he just hasn't been used enough yet. Um. Oh my God, what's his name? What's his name? What's his name? What's his name? What's his name?
which one
The
which
electric
one
guy.
oh the one that I know which one you're talking about.
Oh my God, what's his name?
I know which
He's-
yeah, I know. I mean, not Kirishima. It's not Kirishima. Uh, hold on. Hold on. Let me look up.
Yes.
Give me a second. Denki Kanamari?
Yes.
Um,
I really like it. Like he can be pretty powerful. He just needs to really learn how to use his powers first.
Yeah, I think that's the problem. The problem is the fact that I know I was saying Ochaka's like up there in terms of the heroes, but I would say like I think he eventually will get there in terms of like being a good female protagonist, a female like co-protagonist in its story too. Because like a lot of shows that like if they have a female, it's just for comic relief or for a romantic story, which is kind of like they were kind of going with that direction at first, but then they kind of scrap it, which is a good thing. Because she's like, oh, I have feelings for him, but I can't concentrate on that right now. It's the way the world is crumbling around them, with all the heroes being killed, especially with this main story that's going on right now with the war arc. It doesn't suit the story. To me, it just doesn't add up because you have a character that I would say is there for fan service, is the one that makes weapons out of her body. Uh, it was like really it's like what's the point? And then you have the invisible girl. It's like she's useless.
She's growing though. Like she can do like that light flash now to blind people. So like she the invisible one. While she's not gonna be like your average hero, like a spy hero, she would actually do amazing at that one.
Right. And I think the show is not your typical shonen stuff. It's like the growth within the characters, even with the villains in the show. Except for Overhaul, because Overhaul just becomes a dud. Uh, so, um, yeah, if you lose your arms, practically you're kind of fucked because like it was kind of also a revenge on Shigaraki henchmen. So that's why I overall had it coming for him. But I think a lot of shows now, they fail to develop the other characters like My Hero, because that grows tremendously from season 1 to season 6. I don't know what the time frame is, because it seems like the show doesn't know how to tell time.
I honestly, I think they're still first year students, or they just started second.
No, yeah, which is ridiculous. That shit pissed me off so much when I found out the time frame. I was like, you gotta be kidding me. That only been 6 months.
See how much they've grown in that amount of time. Like, they're gonna be an unstoppable force by the time they're adults. And I really hope that they do something to like actually show like them as adults, like maybe like how they did Naruto Shippuden. I really hope they do that with this show, because at this point they're never gonna show how he becomes the #1 hero, and it's gonna be upsetting if we don't actually see that.
Yeah, I'm really worried that the creator might end up like killing characters that people enjoy watching.
That's potential. I mean, I'm still waiting for All Might to die. I don't see how that's not gonna happen at some point.
Right. And that's the thing. Is like right now, I think a lot of shows, what they're doing is very against the grain in terms of, hey, you like this character? Nah. You don't like this character. And I'm gonna kill it off. I'm not gonna say a show per se which characters die. I'm not spoiling anything, but like for instance, I think that My Hero might be the case that like I think a lot of characters a lot of people enjoy are gonna die. And I think we already saw a lot of that on season 6, and it was the overhaul and the students arc in which not Night Eye, is it not Night Eye? I don't know.
That name sounds familiar.
The he was All Might's friend.
Yeah, his first sidekick.
Yeah, his first sidekick. When he like gets impaled, it's a brutal scene if I remember correctly. And I don't think.
Did he
Uh-huh.
get impaled at one point? He might have
I think.
Night Eye might have got impaled.
Yeah, it was like the same season.
It was within like 2 episodes.
Yeah, but is the show gonna get away from your main character? You have to stay until the end, or I don't really care about you, because didn't they kill one of the heroes already? That was people who did enjoy.
I know they severely injured the bunny girl.
She got fucked up. She got fucked up.
What's her name?
Midnight.
Yeah, we don't know what happened to her yet.
I think she died. She died. I think. I don't think. I don't think they confirmed it, but I think she's dead. Because the thing is, like, what you see is like you only see her mask.
Yeah.
You won't see her again, and then she's like on the floor, and she's not moving. And then you have like the students like crying about it because there's nothing they can do. I think it failed a little bit when they were introducing characters because they introduced too many.
Yeah, they definitely introduced a lot
In a short amount of time. And that's the thing. I like shows slowly introduces people. We talked about that. Just not only does that, it does introduce 3 characters here, 2 characters there, here, 1 there, and then sometimes you do have a core of players that are going to be on that season. But the problem with My Hero is that you introduce 15, 20 students, and you introduce 7 or 8 villains, and you're like, and then you're like, who's who? Yeah, that's one of the main pet peeves of the show is the fact that it takes so long to be like, where is the story and what is the purpose of introducing somebody? And one thing that I think was shocking to me is when you find out that later that one of the villains, besides Dobby being the son, he's the kind of a shadow. I forgot his name. He's one of the villains.
Which one?
He was kind of like
the one that makes the portals.
Yes.
Oh man, that's an interesting character too. I can't remember his name, unfortunately, but he's actually a Nomu.
Right, but his truly, he's not a normal. He was a Eraserhead.
Yeah, he was him and President Mike's friend. But I mean, that's what Nomu is. And Nomu was originally a human that got transformed. But yeah, the fact that he was originally their friend is crazy. The fact that they even figured that out is insane.
Right, because there's a lot of mannerisms within that, and it's kind of like the same story about how they thought he was dad to begin with, because it was like
in like years.
And the scene is very sad because he's trying to come out as a friend, and then the doctor just like total douche and be like, no, and then he's just like completely just goes back to being the portal guy.
Yeah, like I really hope they expand. I hope they expand on that more. Like, I wonder if they'd be like able to wake up their friend at all. Like, maybe bring back out his old personality.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I think it's going to be interesting to say the least, because I think that they're. I would say, I don't know if you're going to agree with me. I think the show has probably 3 or 4 more seasons to go.
I wish it was more, but you're probably
right. Because I mean, it's been around for a long time, and it only has 40 volumes, and it's just I don't know where else they're gonna do, because I think it's gonna get to the point that they're gonna figure out that both Shigaraki and Deku are in the same lineage, and that would be very interesting. You know, Shigaraki is actually Deku's cousin or something like that. That'll be
really.
I think that's what kind of direction they're coming going.
Is it that, or is it like, because you can say that they're the same lineage because all One for All were originally brothers. So, and like, because Shigaraki's kind of like All for One's son, or One for All, whichever one's son now, and like Deku is kind of like, I guess you could say, like the grandson, kind of, just because of how he's gotten the power. So like, I could see it that way. But if you're saying like they're actually like blood related, that'd be crazy.
If you think about like the episode that Shigaraki like loses his shit, there's a picture of the lady that's a hero, and she shows up on the. She is trained by. Why am I forgetting all those names today? Gran Torino. She's like the granddaughter of Gran Torino.
Yeah, God, that's.
And then she was also on the passing the generations to generations situation. And the OP doesn't help, because the latest OP, Deku just reaching out his hand to young Shigaraki. And then Shigaraki just, comes back, and then he's very vulnerable. So I'm not sure if that's where they're going, but it might be a possibility, because like I don't read the manga as well. The manga is more brutal than the anime itself, especially for the heroes on the line. Because stuff happens. I'm not gonna say what it is, because it's seeing like a little spoilers, but I didn't read into it because I don't want to get spoiled with the show, especially if it's like a good show. It doesn't work for me, because a lot of people are just like, I'm not gonna watch it now. Like sometimes I do that with other shows, but like if the show is good, it's not gonna stop me. Especially because it's so different when it translates from the manga to the show itself. Because I think the manga is like more rigid the way it does stuff, and I think the way the animation does it is pretty good. Especially like there's so many good fights between like Overhaul and Deku, have All Might and I almost said it wrong. All for One. Okay. Maybe I said it wrong again. I don't care. But there's like so many good fights on the show that it takes away from how the manga translates it, if that makes sense. The thing is, like, the show does well in character development and makes the female characters in general on the show seem strong, that they can hold up a fight, which is like you're going to see that very often with a lot of shows, because on our favorite show, One Piece, what is the purpose of the female characters? There's not really a lot of purpose to it.
think you're turning sexist on us, Arthur.
No, look, I'm not, but you know what I mean, though. It's like you don't see even like with Sword Art Online, the main girl is just there.
I don't know what you're talking about.
You know what I mean, though, right? It's like
But yeah, Inception, yeah.
takes it away from the story itself. It's there for two reasons: for comic relief or for a romance. And like I said earlier, the show kind of touches that a little bit, but it kind of like scraps that like from the get-go instead of just being like Deku and Ochako needs to be together. That's the story about them falling in love. Fuck the world around us. The world is crumbling, but it's about love. No, no. And then you have the characters. There's just perfect characters because you need that for some fucking odd reason on shonen shows.
I have
Um,
no idea why.
and because that character is absolutely dog water. That's one of the worst characters I've seen in any show. In any show. Like, there's worse characters out there, main characters are that, but come on. What's the point of Great Boy? There's no.
Mineta, that's what his name is.
Doesn't matter. I don't really care. Mineta doesn't matter. Okay, that's all I'm gonna say. Because really, it's like the one. There's no even a point of talking about him because there's like so much things about the show that there's no need for this minute character to be even in my screen.
Yeah, I feel that.
Yeah, it's not. Hold on. Oh no, okay. I forgot that it was a different name for the uh what? What is that's so weird. I'm looking at the League of Villains characters for My Hero, and what was the reason why that it changed the name of the? Do you remember the reason why they should have to change his name? Why? What the reason why? Sorry.
Can you repeat that? You were cutting out a little bit
No, no. Do you remember the reason why I should have to change his name? Because his name is Tento Shimura.
I'm not 100% sure off the top of my head.
Yeah, so he's the grandson of All Might's master. So that makes a lot of sense. Okay. All Might's.
Oh, All Might's Master, yeah.
Nana Shimura. Um, just reading this. I think because of like he didn't want to have his father's last name. I think that's what it was. I don't remember. I really don't know. Anyways, okay, okay, all right. Uh, okay, so the name of the character we were thinking about her is Kurujiri,
Okay.
but he was Shira Kumo. Oh, sure, I didn't even know that. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm just having a moment here. The guy who was vote for him was one of the show's voice actors. I didn't know that. I was just interested. That's all. That's all. He does hero. But anyways, but yeah, I think like I said, I don't want this episode to be just about all the stuff that happens with my hero. This is a two-part. We'll continue in another episode about it. I'm not cutting the show, but I have to go.
My man has to work today.
Unfortunately, still have to dog my walk. Dog my walk my dog. Jesus Christ. Um, but yeah, go watch my hero. Got caught up on my hero. Season 7 is coming out. Fuck, I started. I forgot already. Uh, it's coming up soon. Yes, believe it or not. Um, uh, hold on. Let me see. Let me see again. May 4th. So you're actually go kind of uh, oh boy. Uh, season 1, season 6 is on Crunchyroll. Go check it out. Season 1 is 12 episodes long and it just gets better. Ben started think the boss today. It's if you haven't watched the show, season 1 is not gonna feel as a drag for somebody that's seen the show like years back. You know how good it's gonna get. But if you haven't watched it, season 1 is just the start that you need. Um, yeah, I think that pretty much does it. We'll do a second part soon. Concentrate more on the villains. We'll talk more about the other characters on the show. How sometimes we feel like Endeavor should be a villain, but here, but like I said, there's going to be a two-parter or a multiple parters. I'm still deciding on that. So yeah, if you want to listen to more of us, you can listen to us on Spotify or other podcasts that you listen to as Anime Lost Translation. If you want suggestions, emails, anything like that, you can send us an email at anime ltpod@gmail.com. And also, you can follow us on Twitter or X as anime ltpod. And X or Twitter. I think I messed up the emails. I made a selection. I'm sorry. Recording. Yeah. Hopefully we hear from you guys soon. And goodbye.